Not another bug out bag video. Why? Why? I know what you're thinking. I gotta be honest, there are probably 1,000 bug out bag videos on YouTube, and there are so many different styles of bug out bags for so many different areas and situations. I probably I probably watched 100 of those bug out bag videos, and I put together one that works for me in my area in the Northwest, and kind of combined and compared and contrasted all kinds of different bug out bags, and this is what I came up with. And just to kind of give you an idea, if you've never seen a bug out bag video before or are not sure what it is, it's basically for evacuating some kind of a disaster. It doesn't have to be a bug out, getting out of your house and getting out of town. That's kind of the main philosophy for one, but it can be for getting home. You might need to get to your house first. You may be caught in some kind of a disaster where you need to survive and take your time getting home. So the focus is on evacuation or getting back to your home base. This isn't for long-term survival. Typically bug out bags are made for 72 hours and that's it. So let's break it down. I've broken this down into categories of items that you'll need in a bug out bag. Those categories are water, food, clothing, shelter, first aid and sanitation, and then weapons, communication, and then basic gear. Miscellaneous doesn't fall into any of those categories. Rain gear, fire making, cooking, lighting, and so let's get started. The first category, water. I've got this stainless steel water bottle. You have to have something to collect water in. You could also boil it in this, in some coals, and that way you can purify it for drinking, kill any bacteria that's in it. I've also got inside the bug out bag itself, which I'll show a little more later, a CamelBak that holds 3 liters of water. Food. Obviously you've got to have, if you're going to be packing around a bug out bag, you've got to have something to restore those calories that you're burning. And you're going to be walking, moving, and carrying anywhere from 20 to 40 pounds probably in your pack. So I've got some food items here. I've got some Spam. I've got some survival bars. These are really high calorie. I made these. It's basically oatmeal, flour, sugar, powdered milk, and Jello, so whatever flavoring you want to add to it. I've got a sealed bag of raisins here, and that's all I have for food in here right now. I'd like to add some more, but anyway, food, high calorie stuff. The next category is clothing. I've got a couple of different pairs of gloves here. I've got some lightweight gloves, and I've got I keep these lightweight gloves in here in case I don't have my mechanics gloves in there, because I wear these on a regular basis, so they're not always in my bag. So in case, gotta have gloves for cold weather, and just to protect your hands from cuts and scrapes, and especially if you're out in the woods. These mechanics gloves are great because they're form-fitting, and you can still do stuff. You can still operate things with those on. I did have, well, let's keep going. I've got rain gear, poncho, and pants. I've got a long sleeve in case I end up without anything long sleeve, and then I've got a thick pair of socks and a thinner pair of ankle socks. I used to have extra underwear and an extra pair of jeans in my bug out bag in the event that somehow my clothes got wet. I'd have a complete change of clothes, but for weight constraints I removed the jeans, and you know, for a 72-hour bag, I think that you're good with one pair of jeans, whatever you have on. So moving on to shelter. For shelter, what I have is I've got tarps, and I have two of these. This is one of them. This is an 8x10. You can make all kinds of different shelter configurations with this. The reason I have two is because they're lightweight, and I've got one for ground cover and one for building a shelter. One of the things you'll need to make a shelter is you're going to need some cordage, some rope. So for that I recommend 550 cord, because it is extremely strong, easy to work with, and it has probably 1,000 other uses that come in handy. My sleeping bag that I attach to the outside of my bug out bag, this is a Teton Sports Trailhead. This is a 20-degree bag. I've used it outdoors in about 30 degrees, and I was extremely toasty in this bag. So, and it's lightweight, it's small. I bought this at Sportsman's for, I think it was $60 or $70. So not hugely expensive, but a necessity if you're going to be, if you're going to possibly get stuck in cold weather. Okay, next category is first aid and sanitization. Let's go through that. So, wipes, just a small pack of wipes, toothbrush, toothpaste, probably not necessary for survival for 3 days, but if you're like me and you know, I have it in there anyway. Like to have a clean mouth. So toilet paper, don't forget this in your bug out bag. If you're going to be stranded for 3 days, you're going to need this, and you're probably going to be doing a lot of walking. Don't forget toilet paper. An ace bandage or wrap for sprains. And then I've got some sanitization stuff in here. I've got some cotton balls, and the reason I have those is because they go with the hand soap. This liquid hand soap, if you put some of this in a cotton ball, you can actually back a tick out with it if you happen to get a tick in your skin. I haven't tried that yet, but you can research it yourself. It is said that the tick will back out. Tylenol, this is children's Tylenol. I have some various medications for if I end up with my kids with me. Shampoo and apple cider vinegar. This has 100 different uses. So you can look those up, but good thing to have with you. Poison ivy cleansing foam. In my area, you may not have this in your area, but we have poison ivy and poison oak in this area. If you happen to run across, accidentally run through that, and didn't identify it as you were moving through it, this will save it. This will save the day. Bite and sting kit. We have rattlesnakes around this area. We've also got wasps, bees, things like that. It's basically just an extractor. It's kind of a suction thing that you can put on the bite and suck that out. It also has a small razor in it and some different size cups for different size bites. So to get that venom out could save your life, and I think it was like 15 bucks or something like that. Could be a lifesaver if you get bit or stung. Hydrogen peroxide, many uses, many first aid uses. Isopropyl alcohol, also many uses. One of the main uses that I will use this for is for my cooking stove. I have a pocket cooking stove that I made that I'll show you here in just a sec. Tylenol, a sewing kit for repairs, or possibly in a worst case scenario, maybe even stitches. I also threw some safety pins in there. Those come in handy. Bar of soap, and then the first aid kit. And I know some of you are probably saying, get rid of the tin case. Yeah, I plan on doing that. Right now I have it in here, but I will probably get rid of this. And in here, I went through a lot of first aid videos and things like that, and kind of mixed and matched certain things, and over a 3-day period, these are some of the things that I think you might need. Anti-diarrhea, diaper rash cream. You might be doing a lot of walking, and maybe it's hot weather. That could come in handy. Ibuprofen, another moisturizing lotion. Benadryl anti-itch cream, another razor for cleaning an area if you need to care for a wound. A couple of bottles of iodine water purification tablets. A wrap. This is kind of a sticky wrap that you can use maybe around the ACE bandage or around a band-aid to just kind of secure it in place. Tweezers, chapstick, Neosporin, antibiotic. Gotta have some kind of an antibiotic ointment. Moleskin. These are great if you're doing a lot of walking and you start to get blisters or areas that rub. Stick these on those areas. They are great. I use them hunting. Pepsid AC, heartburn. And then I've got also some Prilosec OTC for acid. And alcohol wipes. I've got a couple other, this is actually a first aid packet for burns, and then I've got some cloth and scissors, latex gloves, and then I've got some band-aids in here. I may get rid of those, I don't know. A band-aid's not going to save your life in a survival situation, but it can cover up small cuts and scrapes and wounds, and it can prevent it from getting any worse. So more preventative category. Let's do weapons. Weapons. How about we do weapons and tools, we'll call it. Stuff over here. Alright. First we got a multi-tool. You gotta have a multi-tool. I usually have one on me, but I keep this cheaper one. This is just a Walmart Ozark Trail multi-tool, but it's got, Phillips screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, knife, little saw, it's a multi-tool. Let's go. Things you might need in an emergency. So little knife on it. But that's not a knife. This is a knife. This is the Ka-Bar Heavy Bowie, and I'm going to go into a little bit of detail on the survival knife, because I think that it is one of the more important things that you can have in your bug out bag, because it has a few important uses. Number one, I think, is firewood. I prefer a survival knife over a hatchet or a small camp axe for making firewood, processing wood. And reason being is because you can use this for more than just that. You can use it for self-defense, or making a shelter, or hunting, skinning. It has multi-uses that you can't just use a small camp axe for. Put a little bit of an investment into your survival knife. You want to make sure that it has a few things. You want to make sure that it's a fixed blade. Folding knives, if you start trying to split wood with a folding knife, and there are lots of examples of how to do that. You basically get a baton, cut yourself a baton that's about 2 to 3 inches, and you can hammer on this end and here to split down through logs. But you want to make sure it's a fixed blade. They have large folding knives, but you start beating on one of those and it's just going to come apart. Also, you want to make sure that it's full tang. That means that the steel goes all the way down through the handle. They make cheap survival knives that they stop as soon as it gets into the handle, and then they'll have a piece welded on that goes through the rest of the handle. Those are just going to break as soon as you start beating on them. Make sure it's a full tang. You want high carbon steel. You don't want any serrations. It's almost impossible to sharpen with serrations on it, so don't get anything with serrations. Likewise, don't get anything with daggers or saw teeth on this side. It's just for looks. It's got that tactical kind of side to it. You don't want that. If you're gonna be making firewood, you're gonna be beating on this thing, so it'll just rip your baton up. Don't get anything with. You want a nice flat top up here, and just a straightforward. Make sure it's got a comfortable handle that's comfortable for you. You don't need extra features like a compass or storage or a beer opener on your survival knife. Spend a little bit of extra money in the survival knife area. This is probably the cheapest solution that I would recommend for a bug out bag. You can spend a lot on a survival knife. That one was about 70 bucks at Sportsman's. So more in the fire starting area. This is a bag of lint, and I've got a ferro rod in here, and I've got another little brick of kind of wax wood chips in there for assisting with firewood starting. WD-40. This is for the survival knife. You've got to have this when you're chopping wood with a survival knife. Put this WD-40 on there. Keeps it moving through the wood. Knife sharpener. This is just a cheap one. You can pick these up for like $3. It's not the best knife sharpener, but it will put an edge back on your knife. Lighter. Bic lighter. Foldable saw. You've got to get rounds out of your lumber to be able to chop it with the survival knife. So Get yourself a decent foldable saw. And let's move on to weapons. Put this stuff over here. Okay. I typically carry with me 99% of the time I have a 9mm with me everywhere I go. In the event that I don't have that with me, I have in my bug out bag just a cheap air pistol. This is a CO2 pistol. It's made by Crosman. Walmart, I can't remember how much I spent. I don't know, it was maybe 20 bucks is all. 20, 30 bucks. But these things, it's semi-automatic. You can shoot, it holds about 20 BBs or so in it, and they come out screaming fast. So you can use this for several things. You know, self-defense. Someone's probably going to leave you alone if you start firing these at them, hopefully. But, you know, also small game, birds. Ibuprofen bottle of extra BBs. Extra CO2 cartridges. And then for the 9mm, an extra box of ammunition, 50 rounds, and just a small gun cleaning kit. This is just Rem oil and Bore Bright, and then some cleaning patches in here, and a pistol cleaning kit for pistol calibers. So, communication. Got a couple of items in here for communication. You know, normally you might have a cell phone on you, but if you're out in the woods, cell phone's not going to help you. I've got a weather radio. This tunes into your local weather, so you can see what's coming at you. And it's also got a flashlight on it. What I like about this weather radio is you can charge it by winding it. So batteries are not an issue here. You can always find out, you know, especially if you're in an area where it's you're having some kind of a disaster that's weather related. You're going to want to know what's going on. This particular radio, this is a ham radio, and I highly recommend that you have one of these in your bug out bag. These are only 35 bucks on Amazon. This is a Baofeng UV5R. Even experienced ham radio operators give this great reviews. This is a great little radio, and I myself am not a licensed ham radio operator. I plan to be, but in an emergency situation, you can operate on these frequencies on this ham radio, and it's not going to be an issue if it's a life or death situation. So, and I've got fire, EMS, police, and local amateur channels pre-programmed on there, ready to pick those up. So, all right, let's move into the basic gear, kind of just other items that I have in my bug out bag. For cooking, plastic knife and fork. I've got, roll of duct tape. I've got this little stainless steel cup. I got this from Walmart. You know, I got a lot of this stuff from Walmart, and I saved a bit by buying some of this stuff there. So you might check Walmart for a lot of this stuff, because they've got most of these smaller items. But this stainless steel cup I use for cooking, and I use it with this. It's kind of a pocket stove that I made, and there are videos on YouTube how to make one of these. It's really easy. All it is just a can, and well, it's 2 cans, it's the bottoms, and you push them together, and then you poke holes around the outside, and then that's what I use the isopropyl alcohol for too. And you've got to have at least 91% isopropyl alcohol to make this burn properly. But fill it up with alcohol here in the middle hole, and then you throw a penny in there to cover that middle hole, pushes the flames out these outer sides. And then I've got this piece is kind of a wind breaker, and then I've got this mesh net here to put the cup on. And I could boil, with 1 fill of isopropyl alcohol, I can boil about 4 minutes or so. Come to a rolling boil, and I can boil 2 of those cups with 1 fill. So, and it was a fun little project to make, and it worked really well. So, and it'll save you on buying one of those little backpacker stoves. Those can be spendy. Okay, moving on. Extra batteries for your electronic items. Whatever, you know, go through your electronic items that you have in your bug out bag, find out what's there. Bring an extra set of batteries. Batteries can go dead. If your bug out bag's just sitting for a year, you can end up with dead electronics in there. So bring extra batteries. Earplugs. Space blanket. Walmart space blanket. This is a makeup case, and I have this for the mirror that's in it. I can use that as a signal mirror. Hand warmers. A few bags of hand warmers. Something to write with. Sharpie. Pencils. I like pencils better because you can resharpen them. I like them better than a pen. You can resharpen them. You can break them in half, share them with somebody else. Cash. I keep some change in my bug out bag for a payphone or whatever you might need it for. I also have a fishing pole. This is just an ice fishing pole. It's short. I just hang this on the outside of my bug out bag, and it keep it on there. And then I've got a small tackle box with hooks and lures and sinkers and the essentials. Charging cable. You just, micro USB. Actually works with that windable weather radio and cell phones, most cell phones. Compass. This is a Spot Connect, and I actually haven't used this before, but basically what it is it's like an SOS button. So if you get lost, you can hit the button on this, and it will, via satellite, communicate with local EMS and fire departments and send your GPS location. So this isn't to be used if you're lost. Make an effort to get out, but I would use this in a scenario where maybe I have a broken leg or something, and I'm stuck and death is imminent. I will use that as a last resort to seek assistance. Headlamp. Okay, last couple of items. Here's a Bushnell Backtrack, and this is a very basic GPS unit that allows you to set 3 waypoints, and it gives you an arrow that kind of leads you back to those waypoints that you set. And I would warn you to be cautious with these, though. These can make you lazy and not really pay attention to where you're going or where you're at, because you're depending on this to get you back to where you were. And I would just recommend that you use this as a secondary. It's nice to have, but always turn around and look back and get a picture of where you're at and where you've been. And that's it. The only other thing is the bag itself. And This particular bag is just a Walmart $50 Ozark Trail 45-liter bag, and it has a CamelBak in it for water, and it holds 3 liters. And so between that and the stainless steel water bottle I have, that should be ample for 3 days at least. And then of course, if you've got a method to boil water and purification tablets, then you can make as much water as you need. So that is it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope that this has been a benefit for you. Hopefully you found an item or two that you'd like to add to your bug out bag, or what have you. So again, thanks for watching.